Hello and welcome to another episode of Is That Canon? We have 2 in 2 weeks. That's the new record, I think.
Wow, consistency.
It's too much.
I can't eat.
We are here. We are here this week again to talk about all things comic books media. I'm joined here by the same two people I'm usually joined with,
Oh, I'm sorry.
Brian and Tink. How you doing?
I am not too bad at all. I've had a good day, a good week full of all different kinds of strange media. Really enjoying it. Finished
Good.
Secret Wars.
The
Good.
new version.
The new
New one.
version. Yeah. So remember I was reading the new Avengers.
Yeah.
Yeah, that basically ends on a cliffhanger for Secret Wars. So I went, might as well keep going. Like,
Ooh,
You
yeah.
enjoy it?
I thought it was great. I really love how, like, it. If Marvel do Secret Wars, they are going to do Secret Wars. When they do
Yeah.
Secret
Seems
Wars,
to be
yeah,
the way.
yeah.
I have my 10 hat theories.
Yeah. But like the end of the Secret Wars comic, as you're probably aware, is actually just like a scrap between Reed Richards and Doctor Doom.
Yeah.
Like a
Like a
just
physical.
like a physical fight with
Physical.
yeah. That's not suitable for like the next end game, if you know what I mean. Like
True.
just a one-on-one like scrap between the two of them. So I can see them heavily changing it, but it's a really good story. It's Jonathan Hickman, and he's just
It
great.
might.
He
Maybe,
can write real
maybe-
well.
maybe it falls into the realm of Doctor Strange. Maybe for season 2.
Well,
Maybe.
like Doctor Strange is he spoilers. He gets killed in Secret Wars. A lot of people do because like at the end of it,
That-
the Marvel universe
It's
gets
okay.
rebuilt.
We'll just get another
Yeah.
variant.
But like, that's effectively what happens. But in the lead up to Secret Wars,
Yeah.
Strange just gets more and more important. There's like spoilers about like there's like really big plot points about like
Are you
Strange
worried
has
about
been
spoiling the?
yeah. What am I
us?
doing? Okay, so there's this
What are
huge.
you doing? What are we
Yeah.
doing here?
Well, there's this
we're talking.
organization. I
Come
think
on.
they're
We
called
are a
the Black-
spoiler-friendly podcast.
Yeah,
obviously,
there's
we
a-
need. I need to switch like things for this because obviously I'll switch it there. Like we'll put a bit Miss Marvel motif while
So-
we're talking Marvel. Go on.
So in Secret Wars, right? For at first there's just incursions, and then people start noticing there's different types of incursions. So different species have been surviving the incursions and have figured out ways to get the best out of them, like that hop from destroyed
One to
universe to
another.
destroyed universe. Yeah, and one of these species is the Black Priests, and Doctor Strange has just effectively made he meets them as a younger man, but older Strange has created an army of dark priests that are like winning incursions and whittling down the amount of universes. Like, and he's at
Only
war.
the strongest survive.
Yeah, and he's at war with. He doesn't like. Neither of them know who the other is, but Doctor Doom is leading another faction that's whittling down the universes as well. Like, that's a really good angle, and that's in the new Avengers run. Like, so
I might have to
Um,
have a good like rinse through it, because my head is already on fire from just listening to you. I'm like, woo.
yeah.
Sorry, go
Yeah,
on.
they're actually for Marvel comics. They're heavy comics. Like, there's
Right.
a lot of text and a lot of crazy, like mind-bending ideas. Like the Sideria Mara are the workers for the map makers, and the map makers are people who bend reality, but they can't bend reality because reality is incursioning. So they send the Sideria incursioning. They send
Say
the
that with a few
Sideria
points
Maris,
again.
and yeah, when the Sideria Maris show up, you have 2 hours before the map makers show up to rewrite your reality. It's like loads of stuff like that. It's like even for comic books, which can be really out there, it's high concept.
That is.
And there's like, yeah, here are the ex nihilo who can create life when they're working with a black sister. It's like, what? Hang on. Like, but this is Jonathan Hickman. Like, he's got millions of high concept ideas that are all just folding in on each other.
Yeah.
This is the guy that
beautiful.
should have wrote a 12-novel fantasy epic or something in his life,
Yeah.
but didn't.
Yeah. And
Your
do you know the way
dream
I keep banging on about the new X-Men arcs because he does this with the X-Men as of House of X Powers of 10. Like, it's like all of the ideas of the X-Men just, like what do the Sentinels ultimately become when the Phalanx are out there as well. Like, there's a logical end point for that. And he writes this huge, like, thousands of years spanning story. Like, this is the future that will happen unless the X-Men change things. That's kind of the like, because it's so much more than that. But that's kind of anyway. Jonathan Hickman was great, and I really enjoyed Secret Wars. So that's what I was up to.
Like,
what do you think?
You have to, there you go. Now run. You're the perfect man to hype someone up with, like someone who has ADHD and has an obsession with Marvel more so than the Catholic Church, which I believe. And well, it makes more sense, right? I think I get more closure in that life, you know, in the Great Plains and Judgment. Anyway, but still, Watchmen Night, great. That'll explain everything. And you have me on fire now, just kind of like, obviously we talked about like, oh, we're gonna obviously fall into this Marvel, but we gotta keep it consistent. I want to keep everything in one place. But like I said, you just feed these things to me, and I'm like, into the tin hat, let the signals fly.
And like, I'm reading this on purpose because I know this stuff is relevant right now.
It's so
I'm trying
relevant.
to pick this stuff up. Yeah.
And that's why I want to hold back until we get into the conversation, because we have so many things to unfold right now around like Marvel. So obviously, you know, Kevin Feige could be our name, call me. So that's what we want. That's what we need to do. Okay, so what's the format? Who are we kicking off first? Has everybody watched? I know that poor Ado got confused during Miss Marvel, so I don't know if we're going to kick off with this. What's on the agenda, Brian?
Okay. Okay. Oh God, pressure. Well, I have first Wakanda Forever leaks.
Oh yeah.
Let's talk about that.
Yeah. Okay. So
This one's
basically,
looking big.
Yeah. So basically, the Wakanda Forever leaks, the ones that really matter, and I mean, this is your chance to like mute this or skip forward 5 minutes or something, because this is leaks, and I know these leaks are real because Marvel have been going around demanding
Because they told me.
Well, no, Marvel have been going around demanding that people take them down. So, like, they're real. You know, that's you can't say more real than that. Like, so
there's photos maybe out there, but we have like fan ones. So
yeah. So basically, Namor is showing up in Wakanda Forever. Long and short of it, his enemy Atuma is. I'm probably going to massacre the name, but Tenequerta is playing Namor. So they're giving Atlantis this kind of Mexican, maybe Mayan appearance.
Ooh.
Which I think that makes sense because, you know, Lost Society.
Exactly, right?
Yeah.
By the way, the image didn't work. And we're live.
Okay.
So
That's
welcome to 2 weeks in a row. Alright, go on. Sorry, anyway, go on.
Yeah. And probably it's known that Riri Williams will be in the film, but there's like merch shots of like an Ironheart logo. So it looks like we're getting Ironheart as opposed to just Riri showing up in Wakanda Forever. It makes a lot of sense with the end of Black Panther 1. They're going around black areas of America finding geniuses. They basically said they're going to do that. Riri makes perfect sense that she's a rising, like, I mean, she in the comic books when Tony dies, basically she gets a scholarship from Stark Industries to create her own version of Iron Man, really to do whatever she wants, but she creates her own version of an Iron Man suit, the Ironheart suit, and becomes her own teenage superhero. She does a lot of time the Champions, which is where Miss Marvel ends up most of the time as well.
So if you were going down that road anyway.
Yeah, they're heading. See, this is the thing. Like, I can see a Young Avengers versus the Champions.
Yeah.
If they want it, or they might just bung them all into Young Avengers, which is also likely.
This is the thing about movies I notice as well, and I think we're going to probably bring this up with the boys when we're talking about the comics. Like, Simon Pegg was the original idea, but obviously time went past. I'm thinking to myself, like, maybe we're kind of banking on the fact that we have a lot of these kind of movies coming out, and these kids are still aging up.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And maybe they're aging them up into these roles as well, and then having them appear throughout the movies and the TV shows here and there, or whatever, to fill in those kind of, I don't know, continuity gaps maybe.
I think we mentioned it last week, but Miss Marvel was shot when WandaVision was showing.
Yeah.
Right. So she's already 2 years older than she looks in the series. Like,
yeah.
So assuming that we're getting Young Avengers, we're getting the Champions, they're all going to be kids for 10 years, like we need them to be. That's
fine. We're already like WandaVision's been out like what, 2 years now?
2 years. Yeah.
And would you believe, guys, we had that during the pandemic, the years that we lost, and kind of like our own blip, in a way. Weird.
Yeah, actually, that's weird, isn't it? The blip became an analogy for something that happened in the real world.
Yeah.
It is weird how that happened. Like, because the blip came first.
We're not saying that insensitive. We're just saying how the weirdness of it, I guess. Yeah. Someone who does their comic books, I can see it. Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
We all lost several years of our lives. Like,
technically,
We had a time skip.
I'm 33 years old, somewhere back there. Somewhere.
Usually characters get stronger after a time skip. I feel worse.
yeah, I definitely feel worse.
I physically look worse, so I think I just speak for all of us. That's what can happen. That's what can happen. Moving swiftly on. But anyway, yeah, go on. So my theory would be like, I think it's the fact that they're gonna have these characters aging up, banking on the fact that we're gonna have all these movies and TV shows coming out over. Like, we've seen the goddamn list. Feige is knocking these things out like it's nobody's business. Like, Fantastic Four is like announced, but everyone's trying to figure out who the fucking cast is solid, and
It seems to be that they're saying it's Dennis from Always Sunny's going to be Reed Richards.
That's been a rumor for a long time.
let
And I
me
could
hear
buy
you
it.
with this.
That
For Doctor Doom, Howard Stern. That's the rumor I heard. I was like, get the fuck.
No.
Get out.
No.
Get your
Get
bike.
out.
Get out.
No,
Get your coat.
don't buy it.
Don't
Do not buy that
I'd
one.
seen it on a thumbnail. I was like, ballet.
Honestly, I wanted to be Idris Elba.
Oh, he'd make a great Doom. That
He'd make
voice.
an incredible
He
Doom.
would be an incredible Doom voice-wise. Yes, absolutely. But we can't have him as Hamdall as well.
I'm just sad.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, well, yeah, I suppose, yeah.
And we've
Varies.
already didn't they use Loki to show people can look alike because of weird stuff.
Okay, fine. Okay, good. I'm glad that everyone's on the same page. That was Gay King. Good. All
I'm
right.
sure we never see Doom's face anyway.
Well,
Yeah.
except for that beautiful movie back when.
Oh, don't
When
get me
we-
started.
When we had a different Johnny Storm. Do you remember? What was the actor's name? What?
Who did play Doom in those ones? I forget.
He was from Nip Tuck, wasn't he? The dude from Nip Tuck.
Yeah,
I
the
can't
dude from
remember his name.
Yeah, he was dashing. That's all I remember him just being
Very
dashing.
handsome man.
Very
But
dashing.
he's supposed to be handsome before he gets. I like that Jack Kirby had this idea of Doom that Stan Lee never agreed with. That Doom literally only just had like a tiny little scar like this, but he's so vain that in his head, that's like my face has been horribly destroyed, so no one can see it again ever.
That's my headcanon for Doom, and it has always been. It's
Yeah, I
so
love that.
good.
Yeah, it's perfect. It's that character down to a T.
It's a small cut on his face. That's all it is.
Yeah, and that's it.
Beautiful.
I'm destroyed. Like,
I love it. Broken. Love it. I just
Yeah.
love it so much. The vanity of it all.
well,
Have they announced that the cast for Robbie Williams yet?
yes.
For-
I can't. Yeah,
Are
I
we-
can't. Yeah, I can't remember. Like, she has her own series coming out. Ironheart is going to be a series as well. Yeah.
Yeah, so-
But I can't remember the actor's name.
The images of Namor, I really like I really like the Mayan Mexican stuff. Can't believe they're letting him be as naked as he is. I
He's very
genuinely
naked.
thought
Listen.
Namor's always a very naked
Listen,
character, but I thought they'd
hey,
make him slightly less
hush,
naked.
hush. You got your ear back in the naughties, okay? That's all it is. You got your you got your ear back in the naughties, okay? It's time for us to get twisted in 20s, right?
Abslantis.
Equal. Let's go.
Look, I did not say
Atlantis
the
is
word.
if-
I did not say problem or
Listen,
complain.
if
Just
Atlantis needs to
surprise.
be presented in a beautiful statue, as the DC has with their moist man, so be it.
Don't have a problem with that.
It's an
either.
equal opportunities in this market.
it's
I'm
pretty
okay with
funny.
this.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, not too
Sorry,
much.
sorry.
I was saying, like, it's a pity, like, in the last, say, 10 years or so, T'Challa versus Namor has been a running. Like, they work together a lot, but they're like kings of competing countries, constantly fighting with each other,
I
thinking about
would've-
killing each other. Would have been great, but
Would be
obviously
great. And it would have kind of opened up the whole kind of like, what are you gonna do about the earthquake? We leave it by leaving it as an earthquake under the ocean. And I'm like, they could just open up so many. I wonder what the original draft would have been.
Yeah.
I would have just loved to just been able to read it. Like, it doesn't have to be made. I just love to be able to read it and just get an idea what could have been.
Yeah.
Yeah. Obviously, the tragedy is Chadwick Boseman suffering and dying, like, and all that. But it did rob us as fanboys of a lot of ideas.
And girls.
Well, and fangirls. Sorry, yes.
Fans.
You can put an I at the end of fanboy, you know, like it's.
Fanboy's like, dude, it's gender neutral in my opinion.
Yeah, fan people.
Fan mania. What was the thing that I said for the Jurassic Park that they were playing off to us in the what word they use? And I made a new word out, but I have to look at the VOD.
Oh yeah, I've forgotten. Yeah.
All right. Well, it's the opposite to that.
Yeah. Anyway, it is a little sad we won't get to see that, but I'm still really hyped for Namor.
Yeah, I just wondering which way it's gonna
I'm
go.
really excited. I'm really excited for Namor and Hulk meet first. I always enjoy those two characters together.
Yeah.
People forget how strong Namor is until he gets to fight the Hulk.
Yeah. Yeah, he's one of the few characters who can stand up to him for even a small period of time. Like, he's at least Thor level.
That's awesome.
What is it? Namor is Cam Hulk level.
That's the way I put it. Yeah.
The first punch turns Cam Hulk into not Cam Hulk, and then the power difference happens.
He's also the first character that was ever referred to as a mutant in a Marvel comic.
That's right. Yeah.
So you'll often see like Marvel's first mutant, or people discussing like who's the first mutant. Now, canonically, in the world of the 616, he is not
Apocalypse.
Selene. Actually, Selene predates Apocalypse. You know, Selene, the kind of vampire.
Okay.
Yeah. But they're both. Oh, I think they're called externals or something. They're both immortal mutants. There's like a subgroup of mutants who cannot die, and they're both part of that thing. Anyway, like in terms of production history,
Yes.
that
Real
Namor
world
is the first.
timelines.
Yeah, real world timelines. And Marvel would be silly if they don't do something with that. Like, this guy's a mutant.
True, but they haven't really dropped the whole word on the mutant thing yet.
No, they have not.
They haven't dropped the big M in the
term
room.
mutant hasn't been said once.
No.
They hinted it in Black Widow. I went, ooh, because they said something like, there's something genetically special about Natasha. Do you remember that she was picked for the Red Room because there was something different about her genetically? So that's clearly their first nudge in the direction. But really, like, I mean, every time we're talking about predictions for this one, Brian, I go, this is where they bring in the mutants. So I'm getting tired of saying that at this point.
I completely agree.
Yeah. He even said it in, what was it in? Ultron. Captain America going in when he first meets fucking Quicksilver, and he's like, it appears we have an advanced individual. I'm like, okay.
They never explained.
Never
his powers.
Like, it might be for like just to cover the words until deals were done on the tables.
That's exactly what it was.
I feel like
they couldn't say
mutants.
It's also turned out kind of weird with that, because they were introduced as characters that were like Quicksilver's Quicksilver, but Wanda was just I should read stuff character. And like it really seemed like they didn't know what they were doing, whether they were going to go full what Wanda, and it's like that's a character that has developed like, significantly since then.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it was always the plan, or if they like. I mean, there was a good fan response to Wanda and Elizabeth Olsen.
She's
like everyone.
a great Wanda. She's so good at that role.
She'll be back. She got a several-year contract
not
with these
gone.
people.
There's no
she's
way
not
she's
gone. No way. But I can't get over it ever since I seen it in the boys with Crimson, whatever her face is. Chimps don't cry. So every time I see Wanda, I rewatch Doctor Strange, and I just had that kick into my head. I'm like, and I get it that it was taking the rip on her from Marvel when they made it, boys. I get it, but I can't unsee it now. So now Wanda's a joke to me.
I love my
Wanda. She'll unjoke herself pretty strongly at some point.
She'll unsnap a bitch. I know. I'm waiting for it. I know. She'll unsnap a bitch eventually.
Yeah. And let's be honest.
Sorry.
At some point, we're gonna have Wanda versus a Phoenix. That's gonna happen.
Oh, stop!
I hope so.
We talked about this before, didn't we? And I had the same sensation running through my body. Oh God.
Want that.
I'm all about fucking. I'm all about
If I
changes,
was-
kicking ass. I
I would-
just
I
want
would do-
that.
If I was to be Marvel and I wanted to build them a new character, that's the point where Riri Williams makes the Phoenix Buster armor and like becomes the proper new Iron Man.
Yeah, that'd be good. I'd buy that.
I'd look into that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's how you, to me, that's how you make a new Iron Man. Is you have her make something incredibly impressive to fight a threat that is incredibly impressive.
Yeah.
With like no
Exactly.
resources compared to.
Not like something silly
Like- Yeah.
like.
With like the help of like a town in Europe.
Yeah, she creates Hulkbuster, something stronger than the Hulkbuster. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
That's how you do that, in my
Yeah.
opinion.
Yeah, absolutely.
I see the term Loki stuff written here, and I have not heard any Loki stuff, so I'm really
Me neither.
interested
This
to
is
be told about Loki
100%
stuff.
Tink.
Let me bring you into my tin hat, ladies and gents. Okay, right. So the last 2 days, there was apparently some leaks hopping around the internet. Now, I'm not going to put them all up, but I will put the poster up because that seems to be circulating. I don't think we're going to get into trouble. Kevin, love me, okay? Let me present Kingo.
We're not making this.
I'm not leaking this. This is found on Twitter. Hashtag.
We have leaked this already.
Okay, so the last 2 days there's been videos and stuff being released of people seeing the set of the new Loki series. Basically, right, I'm gonna give you a rundown from IGN. They've already put up the actual information, so we all know that we're waiting for the second season to come back. So these pictures that I just saw, just one there, I didn't steal. I'm just borrowing to show everyone else, and these were actually shot for the Loki series over in the North Theatre in London right now, okay? Now, this was on the 3rd of July, and it shows that the area of the streets looks like it's based in, like, I would say the 70s. That's what it says here in IGN. So it looks like the posters in question also suggest that the duo is roaming the streets of London during the 70s. So it looks like they're going to theatre, probably to visit Kingo. And as you know, if you haven't watched Eternals, because I know some people just hate externals. That's your fault. Eternals. Kingo, during the disbanding of them, and they all go off to do their own lives, Kingo had this great idea to become a big Bollywood star actor of generation to generation. So the dad passing on the beautiful acting skills to his son, and thus carrying on the lineage there in his life. So I say that is like Kingo Senior now at this point, because we already got introduced to like Junior, which was the one on the plane. So I would bet like this would be Senior, because he looks like the older character that used to do like the older movies maybe. So the posters gave some interesting connections to the Marvel film. So you can see the one from Kingo Turtles. There's also other posters that shows was it Zaniac as well, a character who, well, posed various hosts and gave them an overwhelming bloodlust to murder beautiful women, which just sounds like a beautiful eHarmony date. So over the years, this entity, if you don't know, is various hosts, including real-life serial killer Jack the Ripper. Again, stay careful on Tinder. But yeah, there's a couple more posters that have been thrown up, and I think you would know more the lore, the breakdown. So I will share the link for people who want to see it. I will throw it into the chat. But it looks like, from what the scene is, from the tape play as well, I'll share the video, is that Morbius is meeting up with Loki, and it looks like they're going in towards the theatre. Now, I don't know if this could be a case of the same Morbius that we've seen in contact with Loki going throughout the first season. We don't know if it's the variant one that you meets up saying, like, I don't know you. There's not really much there, so it's quite vague, but there looks like part of the season goes into 1970s London to track down Kingo.
Yeah, and they're really not helping with the Doctor Who comparisons by going to 1970s London.
No,
Really.
that's what I'm trying to like. I'm looking at you over this. So that's where we're going with this. I don't know when it's going to be released. I don't know. I'm just sure what the timeline is, because I don't know if it's going to be delayed.
If it's only if it's only
Okay.
shooting now, it's 6 months minimum,
At
basically,
least.
right?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
would say coming out towards October, November, because like when it came out nearly last year, 2 years ago now at this point, Christmas before, wouldn't it have been? Yeah, I'll have to keep an eye on which way it's going to go. Might actually open up to more possibilities of like chasing Kang.
Yeah, well, I mean,
And then having
it'll
the
be a
big bad and Ant-Man and the Wasp, blah blah blah. Maybe
Yeah,
I don't know. It's quite vague.
because I get the feeling from Feige's proclamation the other week that Kang is not the big bad.
No,
Like he was kind of
lamping
know,
around. That's
yeah.
what it
You know,
feels.
we were humming and hawing over it, and I had gave a guess at null, but really we don't know. It could be something he might drop. Yeah, we're doing Secret Wars, so Doom is the big bad or something like that. In the next couple of weeks. But
Yeah.
he wasn't like, oh, you've definitely seen him. He's been kicking around this bit. He wasn't talking like that. Is there like there are hints, but all will become clear in the next month or two. That's the way he said it.
Yeah, again, it's kind of like how they introduced Thanos, right? Like we only see like tiny drips, like
Yeah,
not even 10-second clips of him just going like, haha.
Yeah.
And like, what the
So,
fuck is
like,
that in his hand? You know?
that's why my theory is at the end of Thor, perhaps someone will just say the word null, and that's
so
the beginning of King in Black, like,
yeah, that's
something like that.
that's
Or
probably,
Galactus,
or someone.
or Zizak.
I think I know it would be real in left field. I think the Galactus is the one you could. It's probably the one that's the easiest to do.
Probably.
It's the easiest goal.
Yeah, you got the Fantastic Four involved.
Yeah, and like Galactus is such an impressive, cool last boss to anything.
But yeah, aren't they as well setting the balance? Galactus as well in his, I suppose. Trying to think of it in my own head. My head's going wild with theories because there's so much that's happened this week with leaks and Wonder Man that you're gonna fill me in with. So
There's so much Wonder Man
I
stuff.
will say, just talking about Loki, there's a lot of money on the table for BBC and Disney to do a Doctor Who Loki Christmas special crossover.
Oh, I'd pay money for that.
yeah, I know
I would pay literal money for it.
Yeah.
I know you would.
Pay-per-view.
It's
I mean, the Doctor has already been to 616. I believe I said that.
yes,
When
you
we're talking
have.
about- yeah,
You've talked about it many a time, sir. Many a time.
It's so easy. Like, it's such money on the table. Like, it almost writes itself.
Well, I get the feeling this is not a Doctor Who podcast, but they've kind of given the rights to Doctor Who to a separate company, to Bad Wolf, Russell T Davis's company.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's not really the BBC that's making Doctor Who now, and that to me does seem like preparation for expanding Who a bit. Perhaps reaching out to America a bit more, getting a bit more money, because it might be Sony has given them millions towards Doctor Who.
I don't want Sony involved. Sony can't make it any good.
Oh,
Yeah, well,
stop.
as long as Russell T Davies is
so-
making it.
They did so well with the second release of Morbius. What are you talking about?
Oh, that's a small thing. Can we take a really wild tangent?
I don't see why not.
Okay.
I don't see why
Are we
not.
having a Morbius minute?
We're going to talk about Morbius for a minute.
Yes.
Just
yes.
last time.
Yay!
Last
Oh, man, I
time
need to
until
get
something
graphics
comes up. It's not even really about Morbius.
Go
So
on.
we've Morbius failed, right? Everyone
People
made a
died.
joke.
Yeah.
No, people
Let's
died.
not talk away.
People died there.
People died there.
Right.
So,
So-
sorry, go on.
Morbius failed. Everyone made a big joke about how awesome Morbius was. Sony fell for it, right? Re-released it. No one went again. Everyone's still winding them up. And now they have to watch The Rise of Gru, that everyone
Absolutely.
has actually gone to see dressed in suits. And they're all joking about Morbius, which I find absolutely brilliant. Just to wind Sony up further. This is amazing.
Mutar. Sony acquired them.
Oh, Sony owns them.
So Sony acquired. Yeah.
Ah. Anyway,
So now.
still funny.
Dying a little bit beside. There you go. Sorry,
Yeah.
it might happen, bro. Like,
Yeah.
man, like, do you want to do this live, man? Like,
Yeah. Well, I still think it's really, really funny. The people who make Morbius must be like, what are we supposed to do? They don't understand meme culture at all.
oh my god,
It's
they must
like
be
the
so
greatest-
lost. We need to get the bonuses.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like,
the
why
greatest
are you all
gaslight
going
of
to see?
all time.
Yeah. Why are you going to see this stupid little yellow pill thing film? Why are you all
Yes.
dressing up in suits and going to it?
If you don't know, Minions whatever the fuck, Drew's next movie or whatever. This
Yeah.
movie this has been out for like over 10 years, by the way, just to throw that out. This big old
Despicable Me?
mean.
First one's pretty good.
Right, it's actually good crack. I enjoyed it, but they're quite
Yeah,
funny.
first one's really funny film.
They are funny, but people are now dressing up in full. Young men are dressing up and making handshakes in theater.
Gentleman.
In theaters around.
Gentleman-ing, yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
and this thing has rated how much, Brian?
I'm not sure the exact figures, but it's
I'll
It is
give
the
it to you.
most successful July the 4th movie release in American history.
It has made
$120
the rise
million
of-
in the first weekend.
Yeah.
It's actually gotten so, like, it's been so this online campaign has been so successful. There are audiences in the UK that are banning people in suits
Yeah,
Yep.
if you
because
come
they're
in
making
in
too
a
much
suit,
noise and shit. Like,
you're ruining movies for kids and all that. And I hear you.
it's a
but why
kids'
not
film. There's gonna be
just-
noise. Like,
just book the fucking theater for a bunch of yous then. If you know there's going to be like 8 million of yous, do
Yeah.
it together. Don't go up to the counter like an idiot.
Yeah.
God's sake. These
have a
children.
specific meme showing. Like,
Gross.
I've said it was smart they'd have gentleman showings.
yeah, gentleman showings. Yeah.
Specifically, where
Gentleman
we give you a
shows.
quid off if you show up in a suit.
But I was just thinking as well, it's imagine telling an Irish bouncer you can stop someone from going in for wearing a suit. Their heads they might do a black bolt like. But anyway, yeah, there's like loads of them are on Twitter going, "This is so funny." The guy, we're
Good
just
meme.
wrecking the guys who made Morbius's head at this point because they thought they had it. And I love that because I'm a
Speaking
spiteful little
of
shit.
heads getting wrecked,
Go on.
the boys.
The boys.
Oh,
All
no.
right.
The
First of all-
boys.
First off, you were right, Tink, about the.
Sorry,
He's alive.
let me do my round. Hold on, I've been waiting
Yeah.
for this. just say it again. Sorry. Say it out.
You were right, Tink.
Sorry, what did you say? Sorry.
You were correct.
What was I right? Oh, this is gonna be so fun. I can't
About
wait
A
to
Train and
It's
his heart.
Oh, what did I say? Didn't I say it?
This
Right.
is such a better thing than I
It's a curse
thought.
more than a
Giving him
blessing, Ryan. I'm
heart is
sorry.
Genius.
It is. It's a good idea. The look on his
really
face.
good.
Anyway,
Yeah.
I guess someone should explain what we're talking about.
Okay,
even.
right. So first of all, if you didn't watch the last episode, this is the second last episode of the finale, which is on Friday, right? So, where do we begin with the next episode? Actually, you know what? Ado, you go first. I'm always chatting. Go on. No, you go ahead.
Okay, so the thing I liked the most of this episode is that they've actually turned Black Noir into a character.
Okay, so
I
for
love-
those who don't know, we literally see through his eyes of how he processes his post-traumatic stress disorder, and it broke
Yes.
me.
It's amazing.
It's pretty funny.
It was really funny and terrifying. Do you remember Legos? We got Chad Legos. I was like,
Remember when we massacred those people?
okay, so to explain this, okay, so there's a lot in this episode, okay. So
A lot happens. A lot happens in every episode of the show.
it's always, there's a lot. I'm probably going to leave out some and people are going to have to put in the comments below and tell me why I left out. Okay, so we open up to the fact that maybe A-Train is dead. Spoiler alert. He's definitely not dead from what Bryce said. He is alive, right? And Blue Hawk, oh, he is still Road Rash, but his heart is inside of A-Train. And to make it worse, and I'm gonna call her Fraggle Rock because all she does is pull at her hair, right? Our wonderful new CEO, dumb as a rock, sitting there telling her.
Actually,
I love the fact that I love the fact that she's got. I have to tell the story about an Ashley story to you later. But anyway, she is sitting there, tone deaf to the nines, getting him to do all these kind of like typical, very tone deaf, and I can't even put any other worse word towards it to really explain it. But she is suggesting some media to be made to really promote himself in the most lying way possible, involving Tom Hanks training him how to run. And I'm like, oh my God. And getting him out of the streets. And he's like, but my brother taught me how to train and we were really in the streets and, you know, like, fuck is this? And he's like, yeah, you can do it. You can do it. Yeah, you can do it. I want her to die. I want her to die. Okay, I'm sorry.
She's the personification of that Kendall Jenner ad.
I think she's going to be the scapegoat of everything that's gone wrong, right? What else?
She's HR. She is human HR.
What else? What else has happened? Dive in, guys. Go, because I'm too excited. I'll just talk over you. Go.
Queen Maeve's alive.
Queen Maeve is alive. And what are we doing with Queen Maeve? Which really kind of really resonated with me with the whole IRL situation in the world.
Being kept locked away, being kept alive. It is, considering all the stuff going on in America, it's very,
taking away her body autonomy.
Bodily autonomy
and
has been removed.
What exactly is he going to do? Go on.
Harvest her eggs.
Safe space. There you go. Gonna make her into a cattle, you know. But it's awful to watch.
She got the last laugh though on that one. This episode could be just called the downfall of Homelander.
The downfall.
He's such a good actor, man.
I know,
like,
it's
he's
emotional.
Losing it.
So for
that bit where she's like, I've never seen you scared before. This is one of the greatest days of my life, and you can see the look of like he has no idea how to comprehend this information. It's so good.
It's so good. So when you go into, so the scene opens up, he's walking and he has all this energy that he is in power, in control, and he simply explains to me, like, I'm going to keep you alive, I'm just going to harvest your eggs. He goes, could you imagine the super babies would have, basically, right? But she cops on, he's wearing foundation, concealer.
Yeah, he's bruised.
Bruised, because he got a hit, right? And I'm not going to say the rest of it in case there's spoilers that anyone wants to drop. But got a whack in the face that actually meant something.
Everything.
We're spoiling everything. Everything.
We spoiled it last week anyway. What happened to us?
Yeah.
Spoiling a spoil. But yeah, she could see the punch in his face, and she realized that she has nothing to lose. She could die in that moment, not give a fuck, but she doesn't want anything to happen, obviously, with her own eggs. You know what I mean? Most of us all understand that internally and externally, okay, emotionally in every aspect, right? And she has control now because she saw he's scared. The moment she called it out, she goes, oh, I got what I want, I saw you scared. And you could just see the cracks forming on this fella.
Yeah.
And kept her in the same room, what actually looks similar to what he was kept in as a baby. You know,
I think that might be on purpose. Like,
walls.
He mentioned that.
He makes a comment. Yeah, he makes a comment like, it's not nice, is it? Like, he did that on purpose because he's
him. He's him.
Yeah. And like, they're going the direction that I really want. Like he's really fucking dangerous now, and he's really off the wagon. Like he's acting crazy. Yeah. And the big revelation at the end, spoiler, that Soldier Boy is his dad.
Scarlet.
I don't think that's going to end up the way either of them think. One of them is going to betray the other because they really
everybody is betraying everybody up in this series.
Because one of them is going to realize the other one can always be a part of them being stopped. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think Homelander kills Soldier Boy. It's pretty like Soldier Boy seems like a genuine, even though he's a prick, he still has that ideal. He thinks he's a good person.
Yeah, he still holds on to that
so
ideal.
He's closer to US Agent than Homelander. Like.
Yeah. And I think the revelation that he's his son, what he said at the end, he genuinely meant it. That's what I got the impression of. But I think Homelander just used that to kill him.
Okay, I say you're right as well as wrong. You know, and I'm in that fence as well because you did hear kind of like, is it manipulation that he's telling it like, you know, I'm your father? He did mention to Hughie earlier in the series that he was talking about like, oh, I already dreamed of having like, you know, a couple of boys running around on my own, right? So does that factor in? You already have Homelander nuts to the wall with the lack of parenting in there, okay? Jesus. And obviously
He's already killed one parent.
he's already trying to look for that relationship with his son Ryan. Ryan doesn't want anything to fucking do with him. He's already lost Stormfront. She's gone, right? So he's quote unquote on his own trying to manage this so-called company and all his power and the shares and all this other shit. But he's trying to fill this gap, like this serious emotional gap. And now he finds out that his dad punched him in the face.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We
and
also
that's why I'm like,
we
you're right, I'm
also
wrong,
didn't
right,
see
totally.
we didn't see the aftermath of that last recording Starlight did, and how that affects him.
Yeah, I'm not sure if she was actually recording then or not, or she was bluffing to get
She
into
was
the
live streaming. She had it in her pocket, so to fill up the space of, in case anyone hasn't really watched it and doesn't have access or whatever, doesn't care.
Yeah, but I'm not sure if she actually was or not. I think she might have just been saying she was to
Okay.
get
Could have
into.
been. Could have been.
Yeah.
But she was back in the Vault Tower getting the blue stuff and talking about the green stuff, which obviously you can dive into as well. But she's cornered by Homelander, and he thinks he has the upper hand, talking all the shit to her, saying like, I can kill you the same way, or Huey could die the same way as Sonic did. Stuff like that. And she whips out her phone like a boss and says, "Oh, you can say that to my 100 million followers," which I know is that she has less followers than she announced last time. So I think she lost followers when she initially went live to talk about Herogasm.
Yeah.
Maybe she's a bad online content creator. Doesn't know her own numbers.
Listen, audience can change. Audience can change, and if you have some kind of opinion, especially if it's a political opinion, and people don't like that, they can shop everywhere else. You know what I mean? Opinions
the reason
like
people dodge politics.
exactly.
You know.
Opinions like a fucking shopping cart. You can push it any which way. All the shops are fucking equal. You know what I mean? Just doesn't matter. Better.
What's his name? What's MM's
Buttersmilk.
daughter's stepdad called?
Oh, I don't know, but I really don't like him.
I'm gonna call him.
That
Can we call him Chad?
He wishes he was a
Chad's a
Chad.
great name for him.
Okay, we'll call him Wish Chad. Yeah, we'll call him that, right? Anyway, go on.
I really like that entire interaction. He is like, the people we were talking about last week that didn't get how this show was political. It seems like he is just them.
Yeah.
And
What's wrong with going to a Homelander rally?
Oh man, let me send you some things on Facebook.
Yeah.
He said Facebook.
Gee, Mac.
Oh no.
I can't even. I gotta show you some things on Facebook. Oh my god.
I bet you took vaccines your entire life until like 4 years ago.
Yeah, that's exactly who he is.
That's exactly who he is, yeah. But
Yeah,
yeah,
that punch was
but
very
anyway,
satisfying.
listen, it was a good standoff, and I could see it on him that he was like, I like work alongside, I know I'm in there, but he couldn't even fucking say it. And he was like, listen man, that's not how it is, it's all lies. With that punch, I know he shouldn't have done it, but we all felt it, okay?
We all wanted it to happen.
I literally sat there on the couch and I was like, if I had some girl step in and kind of take over the reins for my kid and acting like this shit is okay, I was like, I know my lawyer says it's legally wrong, but you know, there's a lot of mammies out there who'd be like, I'd snap a bitch too. So
yeah, I don't think anyone would blame a person.
What's wrong with taking your? What's wrong? What's wrong? I took your child to the Capitol building on January 6th.
That's effectively what it did.
Oh God.
But this program's not political, just so you know.
No, it's not. Not one drop at all. No.
Nobody died there.
No. It's not like, you know. Because this show, you know.
Where do you think the Temp V stuff's going? It's really weird. This show feels like it's on its last season, and I know it's not.
But they've got at least one more, right?
Like,
Didn't they announced one more?
It's weird. This both doesn't feel like the second last episode of the season, but this does also feel like the last season.
To be honest
it's
with
so
you,
weird.
They have been stretching out these episodes like an hour. I've noticed. So we're
But
getting
there's so
more...
much in every episode.
Exactly, and that's what I'm kind of harping on with. Because if you look at the last seasons, I could be wrong. Please tell me I'm wrong and I'm just an idiot. Maybe the pandemic did something to the timeline. But anyway, What I do feel is like the length of these series, each one is like an hour long, like easy 50 minutes to an hour long, and they are just packing so many things. You know what? One thing you didn't talk about, our mind guy.
Yeah.
Oh,
I wanted to talk about Butcher's Dream. Like I was saving it for a little bit.
Okay, but
Because that is one of the most like important aspects of him as a character. And it was really well done. But, and here's the important thing, I hate China. They were to some not great child actors.
harsh times being depicted there, let me tell you.
I know, but yeah.
The one thing was I was pretty like, whoa, which there was a lot of whoa moments, but this really like, whoa, was the stapler hitting the teacher.
Yeah, but it's the whole aspect of Butcher as a character, and like it's like Butcher in that episode looks back and sees all the wrong that his father caused him and what it turned him into as a person, and his greatest mistake in life, and it doesn't matter. His hatred is so absolute that even though his father's a monster and everything that he did and everything that he did to his brother, he's still going to do it all again with Huey.
It's a thick tar. Like, that's the only way I can just describe it. Like, it's like a really thick tar that's so dense and deep of hate, and it's oozing and you just can't get rid of it. Like, that's what it feels like. It doesn't matter how hard you try to get away from it, it'll still be there. It's soaked.
He cannot get over his absolute hatred for superheroes.
And his guilt.
And but it's not even it's Butcher's a person who does wrong and realizes he does wrong, and it's almost it's bigotry. He's a terrible person. His hatred is absolute for a certain type of person.
Yeah.
And even though even when he gets
Sorry.
even when it's not the people that have done him wrong, he cannot see past that. You can see it. There's bits where he's talking to Starlight and he's like, when he talked to Maeve a couple episodes, like, eventually I'm going to have to kill you. And there's no getting around that. That is him. I think it's done really well in that episode where you can see that
shows you why
he
he's
knows.
like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but even it shows him why he's like that, and he's like, okay, it's still not going to stop him, and that's the most important aspect.
Wow, that's
Carl Urban is very good.
he is.
Carl Urban's really good.
So good.
Yeah, everything he's been in.
Yeah, everything. You know what's a great film? Chronicles of Riddick.
Oh, God's sake.
Dread's not bad either.
Dread's amazing. There is a
So,
show
like,
I
suppose,
really like
yeah.
called. There's a show I really like called Short Puppies, and it's the documentarian that made Tickled. If you ever saw it.
Oh yeah, I think you mentioned this before. Yeah.
But there's an episode where it's just him and Reese Darby's playing I don't know, busybody woman who goes in to get her haircut, and Carl Urban is the hairdresser, and he is as camp as humanly possible.
Beautiful.
And it's so funny.
I love
Like,
it.
I watched it again recently because I'm watching The Boys, and just the difference between Butcher
That's
and
meta,
that
man. That's
incredibly
meta acting.
camp
There we
hairdresser.
go.
It's
Meta
so
acting.
good. Yeah. He's a great actor. Anyone else want to talk? I think I've talked for a long time.
Oh my God. One thing I'm looking forward to in this next episode, hopefully, if we do see it, is the fact that the Buttersmilk and Frenchie and Kimiko is going to head off back to Russia. So
Yeah, that is.
we're going to be seeing
But
how that's going to plan out.
But
Like,
I feel like they're going to have to be involved in the last episode.
and I feel like Frenchie could have took Compound B while he was injecting Kimiko back in, because spoiler alert, Kimiko's back to being her badass self. And
Yeah, there was still half of that vial left.
there's still having a vial left, and I know he eyed it, so I'm like, what if, knowing he's like a bit of a mad fucking drug high man himself,
Yeah.
like, it makes sense, I suppose. Not stupid, like, obviously all people are, I'm just saying he eyed it up in a certain way. It's like, lines are there, you know. So I'm looking forward to seeing what the crack is with that. See how that goes, and which way Starlight's gonna go now that she's put herself in a very vulnerable spot. Especially with the whole, like, Ashley saying that her, like, house for runaway kids are actually for, like, rings for, I'm not gonna say the word here.
Oh my
Demon.
god.
Oh yeah, the groomer stuff.
That was
Groomer
so
stuff. Yeah.
so
And then-
accurate.
But the thing is
Oh,
that
God.
Maeve also has a home for runaway teens as well. So are they going to also throw her under the bus with this storyline? Because Maeve's gone missing, but even though she's gone to a well retreat in the storyline, but it's
Dude, I
weird
wonder
and
how to
it's
get
sick.
Maeve out of there.
It's
I
strange.
want to ask you, Brian. Do you know the Do you know what Black Noir is in the comics? Do you know the difference?
Yeah,
Yes.
it's almost unavoidable if you're moving in. Even though I haven't read it,
Yeah.
will I just say it?
Yeah,
Clone,
it's like,
right? He's a
he's
he's
Homelander's clone. He's
yeah,
their,
the perfect
he's their,
Homelander code.
he's bought insurance policy in case Homelander ever goes mad.
Yeah.
It's so good that they've made him a real character now instead of that. Because like in the comics, he's just a black silhouette that stands in the corner and
Yeah.
murders people occasionally. He's not a character until
Yeah.
the very, very end. I really like what they're doing with him.
Oh, yeah.
Man, that animation stuff is so good.
Considering he's your
That's
Batman
it.
analog, so it's actually doing
Yeah.
the character a disservice. If you're going to be doing this evil Justice League thing, you have to do something with him, like
Yeah,
TV,
he's.
like yeah.
But
Yeah,
is he going to
Batman's
die when
insane.
he faces off either Homelander or Soldier Boy, knowing that his power and his skills, like, obviously he has fucking fast regeneration. He can't really die. So I'm wondering, like,
I
does
don't
he
know.
survive after all of this? And it's so sad because
wonder-
his mind is of a child.
Yeah, I wonder if you're going to get a really sad scene in the next episode
That's
where
what I'm like. I'm
Homelander
getting
and
scared for it. That's a,
Soldier Boy. Yeah,
and
come
you know,
from-
that's
Sounds about right, yeah.
sounds like we're gonna go down the road. Oh, by the way, Deep and his wife are not together anymore. Scarlet. The threesome
But
didn't
Deep
work
is-
out.
Deep's got a new wife.
He, Ambrosia. That's her name. Ambrosia. Not babe. Not babe.
He's
Like-
such a fella.
This fucking thing, like. It just, when I seen her, like, she was sitting there nude with the pillow over and the thing just goes, whoop, I would have been down, like, nope. Nope. Nope.
You know the way we were talking about, go away heat. That guy has like what I would call plonker heat for me. I really want him to get done in the most embarrassing. Do you know what I mean? When his time comes,
Yeah.
I don't want it to be like
I want it-
cathartic.
I want it to be messy
Yeah,
and sloppy.
stupid.
And
Yeah,
stupid.
and sloppy. Yeah.
That's
Most
the
of
thing
all,
that Kennedy
stupid.
want. I want his ex-wife try to kill him
Yes, absolutely.
How do you drown a
Yeah.
man that can swim underwater?
with acid.
What? Wow.
Or you could be
Hey,
having
It's,
a bad
it's,
boys.
it's not even 10 o'clock in Ireland and you're gone mad. Okay,
It's the
grand.
boys. Like it's obviously going to be as
Excuses.
ridiculous as possible.
Of course it is. Like, I hope it is. I'm just looking
Or-
for that weird arc that, like, A-Train's
It
going to
could-
figure out how much of a shitbag he is.
You could have Starlight burn his gentlemanion off.
Oh, that'd be good.
Why would you do that to someone?
Bro,
Well, the first episode.
It would make sense though. She
Yes.
would. Oh,
Yeah.
like, I'm not being bad, and obviously we're not taking our IRL because I would never do that to someone out there. But like talking to a
But
comic
in-
book when it comes to the circumstance of what Starlight was in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would support this action.
oh, that'd be real
It'd be a
funny. I
weird
would
taste
laugh.
in
Yeah,
sushi.
Ambrosia likes you then.
Yeah. It'd be the weirdest sushi I ever had, but I'd be down.
Right.
Oh.
This is going in a weird direction.
It's the
Oh,
boys.
the boys.
He said it.
The Boys is a weird show.
It's a
It brings
weird
out the
ass
worst
show,
in people.
man. It's gonna be like
Do you
I
want to
can't wait.
talk about something a little bit more wholesome and nice?
Yes, it's time, I think.
It's time for. What are we time for?
Marvel.
Miss Marvel.
Did anyone else think this was the last episode for a while?
It felt very last episode. That's
Felt
my
very
major
last
problem
episode.
with it. Yeah.
It only because they tied a big fat bow in one timeline that we started off with, and then that
Yeah,
opened up
it
another
did.
one. So
Yeah.
kind
To
of like
me,
how those
like-
Nexus events happened. Sorry.
my signal is breaking up, so I'm sorry if I'm jumping in on top of it.
No, you're
I
not,
think
you're
it might
okay.
be.
That happens to me
Oh,
as
okay.
well.
Yeah. Okay. For me, like I was watching this. It wasn't my favorite episode by a long stretch. Like the first half, I thought was really good, but completely predictable. Like we actually all sat here and went, "Yeah, obviously, Miss Marvel makes the lights. Kamala makes the lights. Like you're setting that up, and then you send her back into the past. That's what's happening." So that was very predictable, but it was good. You know, it was acted well. It was interesting. And then the second half was there, like, "Oh, we're just gonna end that Nora plot line." And the last episode's going to be about what? Damage control. Because this alternate reality. I'm like, how did she fix it? She just said, I know how to fix it, and then she fixes it. You know,
She cast a spell.
What? Not good.
Oh, you're
it
breaking
was
it
the
out,
second
Brian.
spell.
Just stood there scatting like it was in Mortal Kombat 3.
Oh, you're breaking.
Hmm?
It's okay.
I missed everything.
I
except
just
what
felt
we
it was
come back
very,
to.
very. Right, she turned into a skeleton like Mortal Kombat 3.
Oh, that was
Like
what you
the-
said.
she's-
I just heard Mortal Kombat 3.
That's how she sold it.
Yeah. But yeah, I agree.
So I
100%.
didn't. Yeah. Very rushed.
a
We're
messy
left with
episode.
like what I would consider a much lower priority problem, which is damage controller being a bunch of dicks. But I still predict there's an important aspect to Miss Marvel. We are getting a big. I would say we're getting a big cameo in the next issue. In the next episode. Because otherwise,
So, yeah.
What are we doing here?
It felt like an anticlimactic last episode of the show,
Yeah, that's exactly it.
and then until the very, very end again.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was gonna say she cast a spell to close the thing because we've already seen a spell being cast earlier in the episode to get Miss Marvel back in time. So I assumed that the Jinn, what's the actual name of them?
Clandestine.
Clandestines.
Clandestine. I assume the clandestines can use magic as they're dying and give up their life force to cast spells, and that is the headcanon I used to figure out why that worked.
I didn't feel
Is it
that was
both?
very
Yeah,
clear.
It wasn't clear in the slightest.
It,
It was very messy.
it was. Yeah. Unless you kind of knew what the crack was, that he. Okay, so for spoilers, Cameron's supposed to get his powers through a mist, which is
Terrigen mist, yeah.
Terrigen mist, which is this bluey mist, and it would appear that his mother gave him that mist. Maybe it is part of the life force, but I copped it, but himself didn't cop it because he doesn't.
Yeah, no.
Watch. He doesn't read the comics and such.
The Terrigen mist appears when a clandestine dies, so he's technically an inhuman.
Yes.
That's what they're.
That's why I was like, yeah, I saw it.
Yeah,
I saw it, but
yeah.
for anyone else who doesn't, like himself, made that quite clear to me. He didn't understand it either. I was like, okay, so that's gonna be interesting now that you saw it. Okay, cool. So yeah, but that's exactly
not the
what
way
it
the
is.
Terrigen mist is supposed to work.
It's-
It's
yeah,
not. But anyway,
Yeah.
listen, it's a new property. They've thrown out what the Inhumans
There's
are.
QR codes in each
Yeah.
episode. You can read.
Hmm.
So
Yeah, so I don't know. Like, it's not like it was awful TV, but I didn't enjoy it the way I enjoyed the two previous to it. have to
I
say.
enjoyed it.
No, it's not the worst episode, but it's probably the second worst episode.
Himself gave it a B-. I gave it a solid B+ because I thought it was wholesome at the end because all the mammies got talking to each other and me being a mammy myself.
That stuff's really good.
Yeah, again, all that bit's great.
I do
Yeah.
feel, and I sat down and I said it to himself, it's like, I enjoyed it, and this is why I give it a B, is because the palette, the tone, the environment, everything about what they set out in this world, nailed it for me. Perfect parents, everything like that. I feel like it was tailored to a younger audience for sure, and that's why I give it the B, because I know for a fact that it wasn't made for me or my age group. so I need to have a chat with my daughter. But as far as I heard, it's supposed to be fantastic. So I agree with the music as well. Everything about it was just fantastic. But
Yeah,
open-ended.
I really felt like the first 25 minutes could have been 7. I
With
felt like
all-
they spent so much like that. This might have been because I watched it in Hindi. It wasn't like
I think it's the fact you watch it in Hindi. That's where you went wrong. No, but
Well,
fair play to watch
I
it in
opened
Hindi
up.
though. You know, it's
And
good to get yourself culture
it opened up.
sound.
I was like, it opens up with like this flashback. It's like, oh, they're gonna do the subtitles. I was like, oh. But yeah, that's how it just felt like that. Yeah, there
never
wasn't
watch
very much
anything, do
to the. I do.
Yeah, I think we've been trained, like Marvel series so far have been very formulaic in a sense.
Yeah.
And usually the second last episode is the one where you get a massive info dump and you find out what's happening. Usually you get you might get a kingpin thrown in there. Do you know what I mean? Like it tends to be like the second last episode's really big and it's all set up for a really big action finale, and this wasn't that, and maybe that's my problem, not the series.
I know, I
Especially-
see where you're going, because I do feel like you've really pointed out something there, because I noticed as well that there's always a feckin' flashback to explain shit towards
Yeah,
the
there
end of
always
the
is.
series. So if you look back
Yeah,
even
yeah.
a Hawkeye
Usually
even
it's
did
more
that,
substance to the flashback.
you know?
Hawkeye did it, WandaVision did it, I think
Yeah.
Falcon did it as well. Falcon had the slow episodes, the really slow episodes. You remember that? On
Yeah.
purpose, deliberately. Like.
Yeah.
And then they
Yeah,
kind of
that's
had a
good.
flashback, I suppose, with Moon Knight, sort of, but like that still counts to me as a flashback. Where they're out in the desert, and he's
Moon
kind of
Knight-
looking around.
But
and
that's
like,
kind of always flashing back at all times.
it's all
Yeah.
about the flashbacks.
Yeah.
But you can always see
Yeah, that's part of the formula for me. So.
But also, episode 4 is the best episode of the series so far. And again, it's on a massive cliffhanger, and I find that cliffhanger
very good.
it's one of those things where, oh, cool cliffhanger, and they start the episode and they've killed all the momentum that cliffhanger had instantly by going
Yeah.
into quite a long,
Wounded.
not fair. It was fine. It was like a fine romance story, but there was no substance to it at all except they fell in love and then the woman showed
Well, they
up.
can't. Well, they already had the undertone of like, just it was time of partition. It's time of lots of stress, lots of divide, lots of, going through the parts of where like their own family and friends are no longer welcome into their shops or whatever. They're not buying stuff from them.
Yeah,
They're
the
basically
Muslim in
getting
India thing with you.
You're
But
getting
that's
shunned,
the
you know?
one really that's like the one really important scene in that whole flashback. Everything else is very just like
Fluff?
the episode padded out. Yeah, fluffy and padding out the episode, and there wasn't really much to it. Like there wasn't
Maybe-
even there wasn't
Maybe if we hadn't all figured out where they were going with it from the last episode, there was lights. Do you know what? Maybe if we didn't all know,
Yeah,
well, obviously
that's true. And
Yeah.
I also think if she was still alive and it didn't end with and this is where she dies, I think if the flashback had led up to the and this is what became of her and then they meet up moment,
But
it
hold
could have been a
on.
much different thing.
But when she died, since she's a clandestine, did her energy go to Nani or did it go to Kamala?
No, when she died, she used the energy to cast the spell to get.
She didn't die. She talked to her.
as she was dying.
as she
As she was dying,
dying.
she used her energy to cast the spell to bring Kamala back.
Yeah, but that doesn't make. Well, she was dying. See, that's why I'm kind of like confused. Do you
That's
not
what I
die
mentioned,
and then
maybe
you
it-
release the energy, or as you die you're releasing the energy? Because then it would
I was
Um,
also wondering if she was gonna bang when she was in the past. Would she pick up the other amulet and bang them together?
That's what I
and
was
something
wondering.
would
Yeah,
happen?
I was gagging for that. I was like, just touch it and see what happens. So she's there. Like, just do it. But she needs
Is
her
that
to
the
have
se-
the
what-
bangle in order for her to get the bangle. So it's all one big circle.
There is. We've only seen one bangle. That's the same bangle all the time. We haven't seen the second
Yeah.
one at all.
Nope.
Yeah, they've said there's a second one, but
There's
it's
a
just
second bangle.
faith. Yeah, that it exists.
Maybe damage control have it.
Maybe it's in that museum.
Maybe the Eternals have it. Who knows?
Who knows?
Yeah.
or the Ten
But
Rings.
yeah, the momentum the last episode created really fell off by the end of this episode. I was like, I don't really know. I'm not that excited. They kind of finished up the story I wanted to know.
Yeah, like who are like Damage Control? Come on, they're this crappy little agency from a Spider-Man film. Why do I care? Like, you know,
They have drones.
Yeah.
Unless Cameron's the bad guy, which I figure it's probably the...
I think he's going to be like this anti-hero kind of situation because he thinks that his mom didn't abandon him, but Kamala knows that she was going to leave.
I think
But
that
she was like,
he's going
"But
to
you're gonna leave him."
for killing his mom.
Yeah, I think so.
yeah.
It
that
feels
seems
like
the obvious way to go.
It feels
But
so
also,
obvious.
that's really lazy writing. That's like as obvious a story as you could ever have told.
Again, that's probably like we're literally stroking our man beards as we're
Yes.
talking about
this nice
Our
little
lady
girl for
beards and all.
yeah. This story
You're
that's
100%
aimed
right.
at young girls, like, so
Yeah.
maybe we're being too harsh on it.
And it's the stuff we're being harsh on is
That's why I'm in the top part of the screen, guys.
the
So I make
MCU
sure you're all doing
building
okay
stuff.
down
That's
there.
what we're being harsh on because we're being harsh on the stuff that builds the MCU, really the power-based storylines, but the good stuff is still really good. Like the mother and the grandmother are excellent.
Yeah, love the granny.
Oh, the nanny's
Yeah.
pretty crack.
yeah.
She's very crack. She looks
I
like
don't
one
want
of
to give that
those.
impression that I think it's all bad. All that stuff is still great.
Still great. Again,
Yeah.
like I said,
I
I
could have
don't
done
think
with
it's
two
your
more episodes
audience
of wandering around
age,
Pakistan.
but that's me as well.
Yeah,
I
it's
could have
not-
done with
it's-
two more episodes of her being incorporated into Pakistan.
yeah, love that stuff. Well, we were hyped
Yeah,
for that last week.
really
Like,
great. Really good.
I'm still lit about it. I was screaming at him. I was like, look at those fucking pirates. It's like, Jesus. Just shut up, woman, and watch the telly.
Didn't like the Irish reference either. Yeah, the Irish.
I liked it. I appreciate it. No, I was all like, ew. I like that because I know it's the exit as well. Like, hey, and then he nip out. At least she knows.
I do really appreciate that the Bretts were the real bad guy of the whole
Yeah.
show.
And you
Well,
know,
yeah, and they were really the bad guys here. Like,
you know the funny
Yeah,
thing, you
and
mentioned
they-
the
they-
Irish
they-
reference. We only mentioned this talking about the families. You know how similar they are.
But now it's
And now
That
you're
was
now
very
you're
cool.
upset. Okay.
yeah. The only difference is it's called Pakistan, not Northern India.
It's true.
more than India. Yeah. And if India was like 10 times the size of Pakistan and they insist on calling it Southern India.
That'd be a bit weird, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Oh,
Crazy world.
Including a bit
That's
that
so
goes
good.
above Northern India.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Anyway.
haven't seen any mad Brexiteers been really angry with this show, but I think that'll be really funny. I hope I do
I-
see it.
Oh, I hope
I
not.
think it may have just passed them by.
I hope it passes by because if that's how useless they are to have to spend time on this age bracket of a show in this genre, God help them. God help them.
Yeah, I can see them not bothering watching. It's about a American Pakistani 14-year-old girl. Like,
Well, like,
why would you even start watching it? Like,
Everyone's watching it. It's just I don't know if the history reference would cause
Yeah. Well,
snowflakes
Maybe
to melt.
someone should send it to Jeffrey Donaldson and see what he thinks.
they missed. They missed that The Boys was political, man.
For 2 years. No,
2
sorry,
years.
3 years nearly.
Homelander's a
know.
bad guy.
They're so dumb.
I can imagine the
Colonialism's
conversation. Oh
bad.
wait, colonialism. Oh, we'd never. Ireland sitting here like.
Yeah. Right here, guys.
Right here.
So
We're all about that
I'm going to
independence.
move it on
Okay.
There we go.
to Brian has something he wants to tell us about.
He wants to gush.
Story time.
He wants to gush.
Story time with Brian.
Brian time. Brian
Right
time.
time. In the comments, if you like right
I love
time, give it a like. Right time.
Right. So basically, a couple of weeks ago, it was in the news. We never actually talked about it because there's loads of other more important stuff. It's very likely that Disney/Marvel are going to be doing a Wonder Man TV series featuring possibly, and if this happens, this is going to be the best, Nathan Fillion as Simon Williams, who is just
unreal casting.
Yeah, born to play the role. And
We love him.
there is a lot of people who are a bit like Wonder Man. Even if you know who Wonder Man is, he's often a side player in comics, right? He's not very often the main character. But I have a lot of love for this character, so I thought I just kind of go over him a bit.
You can gush. Go on.
Gush a bit and talk about like
It's my time, yo. It's your time.
So here we go. I've written a little thing, so we're gonna talk through what I'll say a paragraph and then we'll talk about it and get through it that way. So I'd argue Simon Williams, aka Wonder Man, is an important character in the legacy of the Avengers. He is definitely foremost in the list of Avengers we should care about, but no one does. It might be interesting to look at why. Perhaps more importantly, he's a very easy character to write a TV series about. Take away everything else we're about to discuss here, and he's still a superhero who's trying to make it as a film star. It writes itself, even if The Boys has already stolen that thunder. Right? So that is true. Ultimately, like, that character, he just really, really wants to be a film star. Like, that's his thing for a long time. That is his goal. And he's crap at it. That's kind of... that's the story of Wonder Man. He's as strong as the Hulk, but he doesn't want to be the Hulk. He wants to be a film star. And he's too old, he dyes his hair. Wonder Man has grey hair. He's one of the very few superheroes who's fully grey, but he dyes it all the time black. I mean, he's a furnace of ionic energy, but he wants to dye his hair.
Just,
he's vain like that. Like,
he wants to look young.
Yeah. So this is what we're talking about here, right? So, Wundy is a character who seems to be born to be an also-ran, which could really be tied into the Hollywood career in the series. He was created by a man called Don Heck, who's almost as influential as Jack Kirby, but never seems to get the recognition. Right. So even in his creation, is like Don Heck. He's not a Jack Kirby creation. Like, yeah, but Don Heck is almost as important as Jack Kirby, but no one knows about this guy. Like, he's almost, if not as strong as Thor, showing off to Carol Danvers lifting Thor's bodybuilding gear in the Korvac saga. And the fact that he's in the Korvac saga, right? Do you know what the Korvac saga is?
No, I was just gonna ask. No. Go on.
The Korvac saga was a proto crossover event, probably the very first one. Like, it was the Guardians of the Galaxy plus the Avengers versus like a Thanos level threat. It was a guy who had gotten access to Galactus's power, and he actually kills them all, and then realizes he's being a bit of a dick and brings them all back to life.
Oh yeah, so, actually, yeah, I remember this. Yeah, okay.
So this is in the 70s. This is before Secret Wars. It's before Crisis on Multiple Earths. And for some reason, like, Wonder Man's in it. That's probably the reason. It doesn't get the credit that the other ones do, right?
Right.
But
there's a little bit of back, just a little note. Korvac, because of this, is what my longest running D&D character was called.
Oh, really? That's cool.
Yeah.
In the Korvac story, there's a specific thing where Wonder Man, he's a bit vain, bit of a show off. And as I recall, Carol Danvers is doing a tour, and she was Miss Marvel at this time, the original Miss Marvel.
Yeah.
She's doing a tour of the Avengers Tower, and he's like showing off by like lifting Hulk and Thor's weights, and he's able to do it because this is how strong Wonder Man is. But he's not that strong, so he's starting to like buckle underneath, and he's there like, "Could you just press the button there? Because like I can't move my hands because I'm trying to lift up Thor's gear." And she's like, "Yeah, you're really fucking impressive, aren't you?"
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah.
Bear in mind, these all weigh like 80 tons.
Yeah. Like I mean, what he's doing is really the fact that he wasn't instantly squashed is very impressive. But that's the type of character he is.
Wow.
He's always slightly not quite there. His costumes are consistently a bit naff. Are we rotating through the costumes now? On the street. We are. Okay. His costumes are consistently a bit naff. His classic black and red look being the only one to avoid actually offending the eye.
In like the other one, like the green.
Yeah, the green, red, and yellow.
It doesn't even feel like red. It's like an off-burst red-orange. Like.
Yeah.
I think
but
his
black and red
costume really suffers when you got to modern style coloring.
Yeah, it just doesn't look good.
like,
Lighting effects and
early 90s Wonder Man with the red eyes and that really scratchy drawing style.
The rockets, the yellow gold rockets. It kind of reminds me of Captain Carter a little bit.
The one, the image you have up there with where he's beast on his shoulders, the one I'm talking about. That that look is so good.
Yeah, and like, I mean, that is that period where him and Beast are together. That's the period where the character is most likable because they have a very early bromance. They're like Booster Gold and Blue Beetle, or Flash and Green Lantern before that was done. Do you know what I mean? They're just two guys who get on. Most people, and again, talking about things that no one remembers about the Avengers, people forget Beast was an Avenger for like 15 years. Yeah. Everyone thinks of him as an X-Man.
An X-Man?
Yeah, an X-Man. He's as along with the Avengers. Well, not as long, but you know. He was there.
People died there.
People died there. He was in the X-Men. He was in the Avengers a long time before Logan was.
Yeah.
So he was the first one to do that kind of crossover. So even his name is a bit off, sounding like a knockoff of a more famous character, which is going to come back in this story. All right. Okay, but here's the single most important reason why we should care about Wonder Man. He's the first Avenger to join after Captain America. The very first. So you get that initial group of Avengers, you know, like Wasp, Ant-Man, Thor, Hulk, Iron Man, you know, the ones who are now the really big hitters when you think of Avengers.
Yeah.
The very first one to join after was Wonder Man. Right. No one gives a crap about this character. And he was there. Like, he predates Wanda, predates Vision, all of these other important characters, and all the ones who get their time in the sun. But we don't tend to talk about him. All right.
We don't talk about Wonder. It was his Marvel day. Sorry.
However, this is because his early appearance in Avengers 9 has a caveat. Right? He's actually a villain when he first appears.
No wonder.
All right.
There you
Right.
go.
So at this point is where we start noticing why he will really work in Phase 4 when they try to use him. The reason he's there is he's a villain who's been given powers by Zemo. Right? So Zemo has given him powers to infiltrate the Avengers and to try and break them down. Right? Yeah. All right. So there's our first kind of Phase 4-y connection that would work.
Yeah.
Like, so he tries to infiltrate them. But then he does a face turn and he changes his heart. He becomes a good guy. And in the storyline, like, Zemo has to keep giving him medicine or he'll die. That's a side effect of the powers that he's got. So when he face turns, Zemo stops giving the medicine and he dies.
Yeah.
So being Simon Williams, he disappears for more or less 13 years from this point. All right, so he's the first Avenger since Captain America to join. He gets one appearance and he's gone. Right, 13 years. He doesn't come back till 1977, except as a zombie a couple of times under the control of his psychotic brother.
Oh, that's
so these things happen.
So shame. These things,
Yeah.
People died there. No, I understand. Like, just such a hard life for him, just getting taken out 13 years later, only to be fecked up as a zombie.
So, would anyone like to make a guess why he disappeared? There's a reason, a real world reason why he disappeared for so long. If I was to say the name Captain Marvel, that'd give a hint.
Legal reasons.
There you go. So DC...
Did she give out? Or?
DC threatened to sue because his name
No,
was
there's
too
like
much
6
like
different
Wonder
Captain
Woman.
Marvels.
Yeah. DC threatened to sue Marvel because his name was too much like Wonder Woman's. Now, to be fair, look at the two characters. They're not exactly like similar.
They're wearing the same outfits.
Yeah. So
he does wear wrist bracelets.
He does wear wrist bracelets. That's
I wear
true.
wrist bracelets. Okay, you can't just give it. I'm not gonna get copyright for that. Jesus, there we go.
Now, I couldn't find how this got resolved, but I found a quote from Stan Lee saying, "Yeah, this happened, and then they made Power Girl after we made Power Man." And there seemed to be some kind of little conversation between the two companies. And then Wonder Man could come back. So I'm guessing that Marvel said you can keep Power Girl as long as he's stupid. Like, they're not related. As long as names are similar. It's okay. We'll both survive. But it seemed to get resolved, so he came back. So this is what he came back for, is probably his most famous period, and he had that bromance that I was mentioning with the Beast. So the two of them would be constantly joking in the comics, winding up villains. They like tag team, work together all the time. It was really good fun. But like as I said, like everyone remembers Blue Beetle and Booster Gold in DC. No one remembers Beast and Wonder Man in the same way. Like he's just always an also ran. Like, and as I was saying earlier, I'd wonder if younger comic book readers even know Beast was an Avenger. That part of his history is so.
Listen, like we're talking about, if you were to go in with people who got interested in X-Men, the movie has only been out 20 years, like.
Yeah, we're talking 40, 50 years ago, like.
Yeah, so you looking for those new sought-out readers and thinking to yourself that question, I think most people would think that. I would have thought that myself if I didn't start reading earlier on. Yeah, I think it's very likely.
It's interesting because they do kind of build this into Hank's character now these days, because he's kind of he's one of the most fascisty X-Men. he's basically running their CIA, but the idea was like it's not that he was a traitor to mutant kind, but he was working for the Popo, you know?
He was working for the Govy, like he goes around in a suit. Is he not too warm? Like it's questionable.
Yeah. That's kind of the idea. Like he's been on this dark arc ever since he got back to the X-Men, and I would guess that's the initial start of it. Like if you're thinking about the X-Men as like freedom fighters.
If you go with the whole say for example the whole Days of Future Past was the play of the whole Doctor Strange mom, right? That's what I call it, Matt, because I'm not using the whole word mom. Oh my god, where was I going with my thought? Damn it! No, I had an idea. No, I've lost it. All right, keep talking.
All right. Okay. So at this point, Wonder Man pops over to the eternal fault of Phase 4 Marvel, Avengers West Coast. I get to talk about Avengers West Coast again.
We talked about this so much. It's not even funny. Like
it's crazy.
This comic. I've seen other places online talk about how Avengers West Coast is surprisingly relevant right now.
It's like Avengers West Coast gets set up by Hawkeye and Mockingbird, right?
Yeah.
The second version of Avengers West Coast is set up. Avengers West Coast gets set up by Hawkeye 2, I guess you call her, and America Chavez.
Yeah.
Right. So even there, but the kids, Vision, going white. Yeah. Agatha Harkness.
Yeah.
And
that
all
series
this
is
stuff.
coming out as well.
Yeah. I think War Machine makes one of his very first appearances there. Moon Knight becomes an Avenger during Avengers West Coast.
Yeah.
For the first time. It's super connected to everything that's going. Anyway, Wonder Man pops over to the eternal font of Phase 4 MCU, Avengers West Coast, where he becomes Magneto's kind of son-in-law and Hank Pym's grandchild. Right? Okay, so here we go. This is the good shit, boys and girls.
On. Yeah, because yeah, okay, right, good. Keep going.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Marvel, wildly retconning like crazy, build this massive family. Hank Pym creates Ultron, who creates Vision out of the body of the original Human Torch, but he needs a brain pattern, so he takes a copy of Simon Williams. Vision refers to Simon as his brother and Ultron as his father and Hank Pym as his grandfather, which makes Janet Van Dyne, a woman the same age as Simon, his grandmother. Vision marries Wanda, which makes him potentially related to Magneto, Quicksilver, Polaris, and Zaladane. One must remember that all of Magneto's children exist in an uncollapsed quantum state, and he has, at any given time, between 0 and 5 of them.
Yeah.
Cut that and make a short out of it.
I think I need a drink.
I actually totally forgot the Vision.
That's what I'm thinking. What's going to happen with Vision now? This is totally opening up to that. This is totally what this is what we were talking about before stream.
Yeah.
Literally just saying to myself, he's gonna fly off. This whole transfer of consciousness, he won't fully remember who Wanda is or does, but doesn't have the emotional attachment to her.
Maybe he gets connected to Simon Williams. Maybe Simon Williams has a thing for Wanda.
I do like how this. I love how in the comics this made every Wonder Man interaction really awkward.
Mm-hmm. Because from that point on, he fancies her just as much as Vision does.
Yeah.
Because they're the same mind. And at this point, I want you to, in that rotating, this is the thing I was talking about earlier.
Montage.
Those rotating images. There's one costume for Simon Williams where he's wearing green with red like arrows, and he has a yellow diamond shape.
There it is.
That's Vision's costume.
Exactly.
Reversed. This was put in the comic before it was revealed.
See, and then the other image down there.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. So they clearly did that on purpose because Vision thinks like Simon, so he give himself a costume that looks like Simon's. That's completely retroactive, like, because that was not the original plan. Yeah, it is cool. It is cool.
It's all connected.
All right. So yeah, and the thing with Magneto's kids, like Wanda's not his kid technically in continuity anymore. Neither is Quicksilver. Polaris is, and Polaris has a sister called Zaladane, who may or may not be. And Magneto had this other kid by his other wife, who getting killed made him go evil and attack people again. So
she was able to talk to animals, and then she would like kill everyone.
Yeah.
Like,
So
like an evil Snow White. Fucking deadly.
That's why.
That'd be awesome.
That's why there's between 0 and 5 kids of Magneto.
Any writer could make any of them his children or not his children at any time,
depending on the pathos required from Magneto at a time. So, okay, moving on. Of course, because he has exactly the same brain as Vish, Simon also loves Wanda, but has to sit on the sidelines there.
Yeah.
Which is what we were just
talking about. And he accepts it, which is...
Well, he does until Vision gets torn apart a la WandaVision. Then he refuses to donate his brain patterns again, because he's actually a bit of a shit. Sometimes.
I've never read any of that stuff.
Yeah. So this is in Avengers West Coast. He gets slapped across the face by Wanda. She nearly breaks her hand because he's as tough as.
Well, like she's slapping a brick wall. But anyway.
Yeah.
He's a hard man.
Yeah. Oh, that's the next paragraph I have written anyway. This leads to what must be Wanda's most well-known story. When the American government, aided by Mockingbird, that's something that's not in the MCU. Listen, Mockingbird is responsible for this
and
shit.
And who was Mockingbird, just for those who don't know in the room?
Hawkeye's wife.
There you go. If you watch the series, you got homework.
When the American government, aided by Mockingbird, take the Vision apart, Simon refuses to allow them to copy his brain patterns again to help recreate the android's mind. So this is the original version of the White Vision, the emotionless White Vision.
Exactly, and that's what I feel like we're possibly going down that road, right?
Yeah. It's similar. So maybe Simon will have an opportunity to donate his mind and recreate this.
Simon's a dick.
So,
sorry. Anyway, go on.
So, despite him being a constant also-ran, I have a personal attachment to this Street Fighter 2010 of a character. He appeared in the first Avengers comic I ever bought, which also happens to be the first appearance of Rogue. Right? Her powers...
Yeah, I didn't know you were there already.
Yeah.
I didn't know that either.
Yeah, in the 80s. Her powers don't work on him because his flesh is not actually flesh. So we're going to get into how his powers actually work here. The nature of Simon's powers are a source of constant confusion. He's consistently getting stronger as time goes on, and the rules on how his powers work are consistently reinvented. Right. So I think this is more down to them not really knowing what to do with him and trying to freshen him up to make him more interesting, rather than some gradual Superman or Wolverine style power creep. Right. So a lot of characters get stronger over time, but in his case, I think they're just like reinventing his powers just to try to catch people on. Like. So in the beginning,
character that doesn't really hit. This happens a lot.
Yeah. You see this happening a good bit. So in the beginning, he's basically. In the beginning, he's basically super strong, and the only indication that there's something more than that is up with him is that his eyes glow red. right? So in that comic I'm talking about with Rogue, she has like Thor's power at this point. She like lifts him up, trying to absorb him, and she's like, what the fuck's going on? And she knocks off his sunglasses in the struggle, and it's just like, instead of eyeballs, there's just black voids with like red light floating around in them. She's like, what the fuck are you? Like, so that's, yeah, initially that's the only indication that there's something really weird with Wonder Man. And he constantly wears shades as a character until much, much later when he becomes more comfortable with...
I suppose in this image he even shows his eyes being red as well with the green in suit.
Yeah.
That's interesting because Cyclops comes to mind.
Yeah, eventually he becomes less image obsessed and he's happy to just have his red eyes on display. And that does give him a kind of a Cyclops kind
the artist he had drawing him, I can see why.
Yeah.
He looks so cool. I love that look.
Yeah, in the 90s I really loved that black and red look with the red glowing eyes. I think it really worked for him.
Yeah.
Like, it's very 90s, but it worked at that period, as you're saying.
It still looks great.
Yeah. It's
definitely,
it's his best look. Like, so eventually it's
modern
established.
Coloring does a lot of damage. Modern coloring does a lot of damage.
A lot of damage in it, yeah, it does. Eventually it's established, a bit like Monica Rambeau, that he's not really human at all anymore. He's a being of pure energy who chooses to maintain a human form. Of late, he'll often choose to appear in a Kirby Crackle energy form, which is closer to like what he actually is.
Yeah.
So like you'll see it's purple usually, even though it should be red. His energy is usually red, but he's tied into Wanda, and in the comics, Wanda's energy is purple, not red. So whenever she does a hex,
her bending her back.
Yeah.
Well, how is her back not broken? She must be
yes, yeah. Were we talking about that? So in the 60s, there's this real consistent thing in the 60s. Like they were trying to be like more trendy and woke for that time, and they created a load of female characters, one per team, but they always had like point and pose powers, like Jean Grey, telekinesis, Invisible Woman, invisible force fields, Scarlet Witch, hex powers. But the next generation of writers
never picked up on this.
Yeah, the next generation, and the idea was, I can't concentrate, I need to be rescued. That was the idea, right? Because they were trying to move things along, but they weren't there. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, exactly. So the next generation of writers, like the Chris Claremonts in the 80s, and they were like, okay, so Susan Storm and Jean Grey can put a telekinetic ball in your head, in the middle of your head, and then have it expand outwards. And Wanda Maximoff can just change reality. So they're like, you've given these characters the most powerful powers in existence. So the next generation of writers like took them beyond those really crappy limits, if you know what I mean. And that's when, so it's in the 80s and the 90s when you start seeing people going like, do not mess with Susan Storm. She will absolutely wreck your shit.
You beat Hulk once.
Yeah, she can be Hulk on her own. And there's a great 90s. There's this era of the X-Men where Professor X is trying to rehabilitate Sabretooth, right? And he's addicted to telepaths calming his mind. He calls it the glow, right? And there's this one issue where Jean Grey goes down to visit him, and he's all like, give me the glow or I'll kill all of your family. And she just like starts banging him against the walls. He's there like, you don't scare me. You are completely impotent here. She's just like smashing them off walls, bouncing them up and down.
I love
it. And then she just like overpowers his mind, Phoenix style, like, and gives him like 100 times of what he wants, and goes, be scared of me. And if you touch Logan, I am coming for you. Basically.
So
and it's just like, yeah, it is actually like 14-year-old Brian was in love with this woman when he was reading this.
Like, dominate me, mommy.
Yes. But like, Sabretooth was such a dick at this time. It's hard to, like, he was, there was sexual crimes committed by Sabretooth. He was a very bad character at
very
this time.
seedy, nasty.
Yeah, not genuinely nasty character. And he'd specifically go, like, if Wolverine had any kind of affection for a girl, he'd go after that character. Like, there was another great issue where he goes after Shadowcat and she kicks the shit out of him as well. and she's there like, you know who trained me? You know who trained the little girl who kicked your ass? Logan. Like, you know. Anyway, yeah.
Love
Love
it.
that comic. Yeah. Anyway, where were we? We were talking about Simon Williams.
Falling down the rabbit hole.
Yeah, it always happens. So, yeah. After he shows up in the beloved West Coast Avengers, being all emo about Wanda, he gets his own solo run. So he gets, I think it was 18 issues, right? Where he tries to make it in Hollywood, right? So in West Coast Avengers, at that time, he wants to be a film star, right? While he's also being a superhero. But no one is hiring him to be a film star. They're hiring him to be an actor who can smash a car into a wall and won't get hurt, or have a building dropped on him and won't get hurt. So he's a glorified stunt actor.
Glorified stuntman, lovely.
Yeah. Well, he's there like, yeah. He's the ultimate stuntman, yeah. But he's there like, yeah, I'm getting like signed up for these big films. But he's actually just like.
But you're just a stand-in, bro.
Yeah.
You're gonna CGI your face.
Yeah, basically. So again, this character's such an also-ran, and I really hope they, you know, this is what they go with. This guy can probably go toe-to-toe with the Hulk for about 10 minutes.
Yeah.
But he's just
he's not quite there.
Yeah.
He's just a better loser.
Yeah. So
people died there. Sorry. Sorry.
So, I think that this comic is probably really good. I remember it being excellent, but it appears to be one of the few runs not available on Marvel Unlimited because Simon is always the also-ran. I can't read this comic, I remember as a kid. I'd have to go and buy it again.
I have issue 1.
You have issue 1?
I have issue 1.
That's one I had. There was 2 I couldn't get as a kid, and that was one of them.
Oh my god! Let the fight begin. Meet in Dublin in a backyard. Bring your bikes.
There used to be a thing. There used to be a thing in my local newsagents where they would sell free random comic books for $4.50. I got issue 1 of Wonder Man in that one stage.
Fucking bollocks.
I also got issue 1 of. This is how I started reading comics. It's also I got House of M issue 1 through that, and I was like, this is cool.
Yeah, that would be a good, because it was a great jumping on point, House of M, like.
Yeah. And then I found it was back when they were doing, you know, Marvel did the things where they would like, they were like monthlies, and they'd have like 3 comics per issue.
Yeah, it was Marvel UK would do it.
Yeah, and the Avengers one, the first one I bought was when Disassembled started. So these are my first ever comics. Disassembled was one of the first things I ever read. I bought like everything they had. It was also the beginning of Marvel Team Up, which is like one of my favorite runs as well, the Hickman one.
That's
good. Did you just go in and just start buying the whole shop?
Yeah, I got obsessed instantly when I started reading comics. And I would like go in and I was like, every bit of pocket money I have is like, I buy everyone. And then next month, like, I buy all of them.
Wow.
I have a load of those Marvel UK stuff.
Pretty pennies.
It was all of my money.
Brian would be willing to like chop off his leg for your
my dad has a scrapyard, and I worked with my dad in the scrapyard, and the money that I would get selling parts to people would pay for comic books.
That's brilliant. That's a story.
That's a good way of paying for your addiction.
It wasn't bad. It was funny because it was around that time, like 25 minutes from us, a stockyard racing track opened up. So people needed tires all the time, so I just made a load of money selling tires and bought a lot of comics.
Fucking hell.
It sounds perfect.
It was great.
What a way to grow.
Oh, it was so good. Yeah.
How would you build your collection? Check your scrapyard now. Anyway.
Catalytic converters.
Okay, so final toss. Do you think Wonder Man's going to show up in the...
I have a bit more yet.
Do you?
Yeah, just a page or something. We're almost there. We're almost there.
No, I'm asking you a real question. Do you think she'll show up, or he'll show up in that series?
Do I think Wonder Man will show up in...
Agatha Harkness.
Oh, maybe.
I'm thinking it could be Stranger Things that happen.
That's different. That's a different show.
That's a different podcast. Sorry.
Yeah. They're both related to Wanda, but they're not really related to each other.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I mean, you could like if Agatha.
Because if White Vision has to go back and figure out where Wanda is.
Like, yeah, there could be White Vision's starting to have feelings. He goes to Agatha and need to find Wanda.
Breaks
and it's
her
all-
little spell, like he
Yeah.
did. And
Yeah, all this stuff, and he could show up. You know, they could have a different relationship, Vision and Simon. They might meet some other way and feel like they're brothers. Who knows? Because like they really were. Like Vision would literally call him my brother, type of thing. Like
Oh.
he and Simon brought Vision to meet his mom. I remember reading this as well, going, "This is weird." Simon brought Vision to meet his mom. They're like, "This is your son." Like. Vision starts calling her mom and everything. Like
I just find I
Comics
find
are
a
so weird.
stoic Paul Bettany. Hello, mother. Like
it was kind of like that too. Yeah.
Jesus.
If I was in charge of writing these, I would be like trying to make that
Hello,
scene
man.
happen.
What
So-
kind of shit? Anyway, go on.
Anyway, so I recall this comic being very funny, with everyone being horrified he doesn't have a car in LA. It was a running joke that everyone was there like.
It's
"How do
horrifying
see-"
that you do have a car.
Yeah. But he can jump like the Hulk, and also he has a rocket pack, so he literally just flies wherever he wants to go.
Why
Like,
would he need
but
a
everyone's-
car? To look normal.
well, America, you know,
Oh,
like,
yeah,
you need a car to
America.
get everywhere. Yeah.
Murder.
Especially LA.
Yeah. As this is happening during the 90s, it eventually turns really dark when Wonder Man starts exploding whenever he gets too emotional all over people. So he like spreads his power on them, and some of them get his power. Like, so he goes through quite a morbid period where he's questioning if he's human anymore at all. So
This lad
like
sounds like a fucking mess.
he is a mess.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he is a mess.
He sounds like a
Yeah,
mess
sure.
and a half,
Mm.
right? I don't know. Like, it's probably good that he loses his,
Mm.
I don't know,
Well,
emotions as White Vision.
I was thinking at this point though, wouldn't this be gas in a superhero TV series though? They could do one episode of the 90s. I'm Wonder Man, and I'm so morbid. and
It
I
would
don't
kind
know
of
if I'm
cross
human
paths
anymore.
the whole Captain Marvel situation.
Yeah, like I'd be down with that. I think that could be a really, really fun. We're not done with Captain Marvel and Wonder Man, by the way.
Clearly.
Yeah.
I would, if you're gonna do this as a series, I would do this as a comedy.
Yeah. Well, that's
Yeah,
what I mean. Like
A comedy of
it's-
errors.
It's like grimdark, but funny grimdark. A bit
Yeah.
like the book.
Yeah.
Okay. So,
Ah.
the West Coast Avengers were eventually rebooted into the most 90s of series, Force Works, and that has to be all caps, Force Works, and it's like Force Works. So, Force Works was Iron Man created a team that they had a predictive
Force
computer that said like
Works.
a war is about to break out here. We have to all go and sort that out. So, and it was like, you know, it's like everyone was huge. Right, and Wanda had the most ridiculous costume, and even Wanda was huge. Her jaw was like a 90-degree angle. I can remember. I can't remember the art, but look, even Wanda was like,
Big
like,
sprout to the 90s,
This-
like.
and
Was Liefeld involved?
no, as far as I know, but like obviously he was a massive influence on it. But everyone was like hyper,
everything looked like that.
yeah, and like I
Everything
can
was
remember.
just edged.
They did this shading thing where you could see all of the veins in everyone's forehead all the time. Like it was always dark, and everyone was like,
Yeah, just that one pulsing anger
Yeah,
vein.
yeah.
Yeah, I know the one you're talking about.
And,
yeah.
and
But,
nobody had feet.
Yeah, no one had feet. I
No one had
loved
toes.
Force Works because I was a stupid kid. But anyway, Simon, of course.
These
dies
comics
in-
were amazing when you were kids.
Yeah, they were great. Loved this comic. But Simon, of course, dies in the first issue because he's Simon. Right. So he gets blown up in a Kree bomb that would have destroyed the Earth. Gone.
As you
So
do.
he's gone for most of Force Works, like he was gone for most of the Avengers because he's just an also ran. He's always an also ran. He effectively comes back in the George Perez, Kurt Busiek Avengers, which is a great, after Heroes Reborn.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he comes back in that. And he's basically a stand for Wanda. Wanda can summon him. Because the explosion intermingled them. So she can summon him, and he's always he's glowing purple, like he looks like Hex power. He's got
Comes
like a big
in,
flaming.
yes, we heart, her feet up,
Yeah,
having a smoke.
Yeah,
Just cup
but
of
like,
tea, wouldn't
yeah, you go kick their asses. You can lift
go-
100 tons over your head, like.
you know,
Mm.
different
Um,
reality.
Yeah. So when she summons him, he is in pure ionic energy form. That's what they refer to it as, and whatever that means. As an ion is an atom which is either too many or too little protons, so contains an electrical charge. But his
Right.
powers are always purple or red glowy. To me, this means his main power should be a desire to flow down a conductive material, but I'm not sure if Wanda counts as a conductive material.
That is a bad joke.
Thank you.
That is a bad joke. Well done.
Yeah.
I like it.
I'm going to give you this, though. I will.
Yeah.
Only because we're live, but deep down, you're
Yeah.
going to get it. You're going to get it.
But it is like his power is one of the, like, you know, no superhero powers work in the real world, but his
Yeah.
in particular make absolutely no sense. He's
Oh, yeah.
made of pure ions. That just means you hold an electrical charge. It doesn't mean anything. Why are you glowing red? It makes no sense.
Everything.
Yeah, just the argument. Why are you glowing red?
Yeah,
Your
yeah, like-
ions.
It was the 90s.
yeah,
the
because
only
the
answer.
90s.
Because
Yeah.
the 90s, yeah.
Because the 90s.
So we're reaching the end of like the relevance of like whatever relevance he had. We're reaching the end of that. So Simon has been kicking around at the periphery of the Avengers ever since. He dated Carol Danvers for a while, right? During the Initiative era, you know, when all superheroes were licensed. He went
Yeah,
out with her for a
okay.
while, but it was always like even other characters would be saying to Carol, like, why are you going out with him? Like, she ended up with Rhodey after him, like, you know?
What?
Yeah, yeah.
Anyone-
Go on.
For anyone who's a Dragon Ball fan, it's the equivalent of Bulma and Yamcha.
Mm. But this definitely did happen, and the most interesting thing that happened to him in this period was, remember I mentioned his brother was a supervillain.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he was called the Grim Reaper, and he had a big scythe on his arm. You see him in a lot of games and things like that, the Grim Reaper, and he's probably almost more famous than Simon is. His helmet appears in one of the credit sequences for WandaVision. You know when they're panning through the ground and there's a little helmet. That's
There's a little
Grim Reaper's helmet.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's a reference to the extended Wanda family, which Simon is definitely a part of. If you know what I mean.
I think that's why everyone's are going down the road of Mephisto and like
Yeah.
Nightmare and shit.
Yep.
Which I kind of felt that too. I get it, but I still we're a bit.
So, in this period, and this is just like a tangent, but it's an interesting factoid considering where we've been in the MCU recently. The Grim Reaper at this point is killed by Vision's wife, not Wanda, the one he makes. That's technically his sister-in-law. It's technically Simon's sister-in-law. He makes a robot wife for himself. Vision does. And he kills.
It does that run with the comic run where he has a wife and 2 kids, right?
Yeah, exactly. The wife kills the Grim Reaper, Simon's brother.
Right.
And this happens after Simon's brother nearly kills Vision, who is the daughter, technically
Viv.
Simon's niece.
Yeah.
This is like the family's just like.
I can't keep up. My brain is slipping.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
can't-
Okay.
I'm like, Anyway.
That's kind of where the really complicated stuff ends, right? So, impossibly the most interesting twist the character has ever had, he has now become a pacifist.
Yeah.
So, right? He's a pacifist superhero. He tries to talk people out of problems, like, and they shoot him with a gun, and he's there like, why are you doing that? Listen, man, we're just a bro.
Come here.
I'd not seen any of this.
All right,
People died there. Sorry.
People died there, yeah. Right. So, he is possibly the only man who can stand in the face of the Hulk and tell him to calm down without the Hulk being able to do anything to stop him. He's that strong now. Like. And there is, like, the Devil Hulk, like, one of the most recent, most powerful ones. Like, there's a story where Simon's just lecturing him and the Devil Hulk is just trying to figure out a way to get rid of him. Because
he's just talking over and over, and he's like, just fuck off.
Trying to tell the Hulk to calm down. What's the last thing the Hulk ever wants to do?
Hey
Just
man,
calm
all I
down.
want you to do is just relax. I'm here for you, buddy. You know, like at the end of the day, I just want you there. You know, to be in your calm self. And once you sat down, you know, I just want to stand here with you, put my hand out, and you
Just
know,
be in the moment,
calm.
like.
Just be in the moment. You know, there's no need for the rage and start, you know, smashing hands and smashing cars and smashing families apart. You know, we can do this together. I would kill him too. I would lose my shit. I just fucking across fields like get the fucking you nagging shite. Tell me to calm down.
Mhm.
Oh my god.
So, last paragraph. So,
okay.
many stories featuring Simon now revolve around a completely invulnerable man lecturing those who can suffer far more than he can about how they should behave under the threat of violence. So, so he's an extremely hypocritical man in a hypocritical position, one that prevents him from ever being the main star of a comic because he can't get in a fight.
He sounds like Falcon / Captain America.
Yeah, but
You know?
Falcon will actually will throw down if you make him like this guy won't.
This guy has like only on the basis that well for the Falcon he has that backup. He's not super, you know. And this fella's like nothing can push me over, so I'm just gonna sit here and like if I had that ability, I would run rogue with it. You know I would. I'd be like, if I just have to sit there and talk to people, no problem. Do I have to keep it positive though?
But maybe being a pacifist for like the most invulnerable man in the world is like the ultimate troll position.
It's like being a priest
Yeah.
in Ibiza.
That's it anyway. That's my little thing on Wonder Man, who is just a really flawed, brilliant character.
On the side.
Terrible character. Yeah, always on the side. Always
He looks
involved.
great though. Like he looks like a great character. It's just he's just not quite there.
You could say he consistently
He's
makes.
just a little bit pathetic.
Yeah, he consistently makes bad decisions.
Talks
Like,
his way in
yeah.
and out of situations.
He does, as memory serves, he does actually bone Wanda towards the end of that comic book.
That's
So he
nice.
He kind of gets that out of his system.
So they make love.
Wait,
Yeah.
isn't that his stepsister?
This is what I.
Comics! Everybody!
It is a constant open world of different things and complexes.
And with that,
With that
with
bitter
that,
note.
we bring this podcast to a close.
Oh my
That put it
god.
generously.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you enjoy the content we brought so far, make sure you put your comments in below. Please let us know what you thought about this Wonder Man conclusion because it looks like it's going to go any which way. Giggity. Also, finale as well. The Boys is on Friday. Love to hear as well your thoughts as well. If you want to do spoilers, you can put it in our comments below. Obviously, on our
Is
YouTube.
it both shows are over there? Next episode
Yeah.
we're talking to
I am
both shows.
sorry you figured this out, Ado. Feeling like you're
I didn't know. I didn't know how many episodes Marvel had. Yeah, because I was like, even
He
when I
has the
watched it,
time
just
to
physically
watch
last, I was
1,000 episodes of some shite that I don't understand. But can't get through a bit of fucking Hindi.
Always time to watch One Piece, in my opinion.
You have
I
to.
will also have watched Thor by the time we meet next.
I need to watch
So
Thor.
do I.
Yeah, because Thor's already released now, and I haven't watched anything around it because I will find you and I will hurt your feelings. So you tell me things.
I'm off work Friday. I'm considering going to the 12 a.m. showing or the midday showing.
I'm gonna have to figure out probably over the weekend if it's free there. But I'm going to see John Cleese on Monday. It's his last show before he dies, apparently. So we gotta go do that. So I won't be seeing Thor, God of Thunder. I will be seeing the Thor, God of Comedy, in a way. And stuff.
Yeah, I would before, like, there's a review of Thor that I've read that's making me very excited. So it says it's motor powered by goofy self-awareness and childlike imagination.
Oh my God!
just-
Take my body to the cinema.
Yeah, that's
Lift me.
just, yeah,
Throw me.
just Sounds perfect to me. So
That'll
looking
do.
forward to it at this point.
Look, at this stage, I think I'll be spending money on every Taika Waititi movie, whether it has superheroes
Oh,
or not.
he's making mints. I think he's doing very well with what he's doing. His picks are very well, and the fact that he's throwing in a little bit more comedy into it is nice. But sometimes it gets a little bit too much. But it's okay. I'm happy with it.
I think I'm just his sense of humor like matches me almost like perfectly. Everything I've seen him do,
Why don't
I've
you
loved.
just stay him, Ado? Okay.
Oh
Just
man,
Jesus.
give me half a chance.
Sorry. Would you please put the comments? Would you smash?
So,
Smash because it's whatever. Anyway.
Also, he's a One Piece fan. There was a behind the scenes from Thor that came out like 2 weeks ago, and the jumper that he's wearing, it's all like censored out, whatever. But it's very obviously a big picture of Luffy, and the whole One Piece subreddit went mental about it. Where can people find you?
Who did you ask? Did you ask me or ask Brian?
I did ask you, Tank.
You asked me where to find me. God, you under your bed. No, you'll find me on Twitch. I am live streaming during the day, and it's anti-ticker about exactly what it says on the tin. And I also do TikToks as well, so please judge me there. I would like some critique, and I'll be on tomorrow. But besides that, where do you find Brian?
You will find me at Brian Van Doom on Twitter. Currently really enjoying all this crap going on in the UK. Schadenfreude, it's great. And twitch.tv/as1live, I think.
Do you have any events happening?
We just did Odyssey, which was a big Smash Brothers event in Ireland. We have the Smash Ultimate top 24 on our channel. If anyone wants to go and have a look at that on the Twitch. In 1 week's time, not this weekend, the weekend after, we're having a multi-game event. So that'll be like Street Fighter, DNF Fighter, Guilty Gear probably as well. So a lot of fighting in general, just a lot of violence.
Weekend after next is TwitchCon Amsterdam, and I'll be there. What about you, Ada? Where do people find you?
Find me on Twitter at AODHAAN616. If you're in Donegal, I have a gig Saturday week. You should come to see me play drums.
See the man play drums. Where is it? In a bar or where?
It's in the bar, yeah.
You'll post it on Twitter, won't you?
Maybe, I don't know. I can't see people. I can't see people. I can't see this being a relevant thing to put out there, but I thought I'd give it a shot.
Give it a shot. Why not?
Why not? Yeah.
Buy the man a pint. That's what he's asking, really. That's what he's asking, really. Buy the musician a pint.
Or a Red Bull. I don't drink.
Guys, if you enjoy the content, please consider hitting that lovely smash the like button there, and even subscribe because it does help the channel to grow. Leave your comments below what your thoughts are for either Thor that's coming up, your thoughts on Wonder Man possibly kissing his sister. Then, The Boys, your finale, your thoughts. Is your heartbreaking the fact that this is the last Miss Marvel? What you enjoy about the palette? I did as well. Please let us know, and thank you for joining us. And Teletubby bye-bye, I suppose.
And if you have any idea of what you want us to go with a little classic review after next week, drop it in the comments.
Drop it in the comments below. We want to know anything that you want to see us kind of review, we'll be down, or for Aiden to actually finish. Goodbye!
Hey, I'll watch things. Bye.
Bye-bye.